Zarashashael, aka the Mime, is the concentrated emotional residue from the decadence and bloodshed preceding and during the French Revolution. Immortal and apparently indestructible, Zarashashael has roamed the earth for several centuries. He likes to indulge in all manner of decadence and debauchery, and as one would imagine has a particular penchant for violence. Details don't need to be delved into, but Zarashashael spent several decades in IPSET activity after being apprehended by German police at a mass suicide in the basement of an S&M club. When not indulging the most carnal of pursuits, Zarashashael is sustaining himself by feeding. It is unknown what would occur should Zarashashael not feed. According to the notes in his IPSET file, Farr only observed a reaction to prolonged starvation is he gets a bit cranky. As with everything else in his nature, Zarashashael's biology is perverse and born of gluttony, pain, and vengeance made manifest. He feeds through a prehensile prolapse intestine lined with tooth-like calcium deposits. This appendage secretes fluid which liquidizes his victim's internal anatomies, leaving only an empty skin husk. He has 2 glaring red eyes on his anus to watch the process. Just as the French peasantry believed the nobility loved to look down on them as they would, metaphorically speaking, defecate on them in the form of taxes, levies, and unjust laws. Zarashashael draws strength from the blood he extracts with liquidized biological matter. In his stomach, which is the sole organ in his chest cavity, he has several blender-like bone structures to further break down materials and extract hemoglobin. Once the process is complete, the remaining pus-like waste is ejected via the 2 small mouths in place of eyes in his eye sockets. Again, this extraction of blood is thought by organizations like IPSET to be in part due to Zarashashael's nature as a living metaphor born of concentrated emotion. He is literally sucking the blood from his victims as the nobility figuratively sucked the blood from France in the eyes of the peasantry. While not physically beyond human limitations of strength, Zarashashael is in possession of several paranatural skills in which he lures victims. He is capable of rendering most people inert to a greater or less degree with hypnotic suggestion, which Zarashashael emits by physical action, usually dance, although there have been instances where more erotic or sadistic displays have triggered the same response in observers. It is also well documented that Zarashashael can emit mental noises that calm and soothe potential victims prior to their visual contact. Usually, this is wind chimes. However, Zarashashael has been known to adapt. For example, the only survivor of a nunnery he butchered reported hearing angelic chanting. The psychically delivered sounds make potential victims docile and open their minds to Zarashashael's full hypnotic influence. The first historical accounts of him portray Zarashashael as dressing as a member of the French aristocracy during the Revolution era. He has changed his attire as the decades passed, however. In recent years, he has taken the guise of a street mime wearing sunglasses. Zarashashael is incredibly talkative as far as paranatural entities go. He enjoys taunting victims and witnesses, although he refuses to speak in anything other than French. He's prideful and is quick to lose his temper, which by his own admission is what triggered the Berlin incident. Zarashashael instinctively avoids other paranatural entities. As an entity born of human essence rather than out of the universe, like Thytherathax or the man in charge, or some other non-material origin, such as hair or the listener, it is unclear whether Zarashashael's invulnerability extends beyond material threats. It is known that the listener has at least 1 volume on his exploits in the over-library. However, so he is known to the upper echelons of the UN being's hierarchy. As stated, for several decades, Zarashashael was in IPSET captivity. Samples of his paragenetic material have been vital in the creation of a serum, which could enable Ipset to wipe out one of humanity's most imminent threats. However, due to the diversion of already stretched resources away from this focus and onto the Event Hair project, Zarashashael has managed to escape. Where he'll next emerge, and if Ipset will be able to apprehend him again, remains to be seen.